Hey friends, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel Terry. I am the author of 4 young adult fantasy novels. Information will be in the description box down below if you're interested. In today's video, I'm going to share how I recruited ARC readers and how that went. I am by no means an expert. I want to preface this by saying that this is just what I did and you may want to do it differently. But if there are any indie authors out there just starting out who want to recruit ARC readers but are feeling kind of lost and intimidated by the whole process, I thought I'd make this video just to show how I did it. Now, for my first 2 books, Lightbringer and Flameseeker, I did not recruit any ARC readers at all. This was something that I think was a mistake, and I would encourage people who are just starting out not to do this. Obviously, it's a daunting process if you've never done it before, and it takes more time in order to do it, but I think it's worth it. The very first review I ever got on Lightbringer was a 1-star, and I'm not saying that if you recruit ARC readers that won't happen, but it is a little less likely. Now, that 1-star review was a troll, and it has since been deleted either by the poster or by Goodreads, not by me because I can't do that, but it was very demoralizing to have my very first review ever, even if it was a troll, be a 1-star, and that was all there was for a period of time because I didn't have any ARC readers. So when The Phoenix and the Crown came out, I decided I wanted to get some ARC readers at least and see how it went, and then I did the same thing for the prequel sequel to that book, A Tale of Two Sisters. So for recruiting ARC readers, for getting the word out there, I posted to all my socials, I posted to the community tab here on my YouTube channel, I posted to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course I sent out word on my newsletter. My newsletter subscribers usually find out what's going on before everybody else, so if you want to be the first to find out about anything, I encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. I'm not going to spam you. I send out 1 email a month, and if you do sign up, you get a free short story as well. But I did post to all of those places, and then if people wanted to sign up, they were welcome to. I did not place any restrictions on this. I didn't care if somebody had never been an ARC reader before. That wasn't going to bias me against that person. I felt like we all need to start out somewhere, and it's kind of like a job thing where this job requires experience in order to get hired, but if you can't get hired to get the experience, how do you ever get the experience you need to get hired? That kind of a thing. So I wasn't going to hold it against somebody if they'd never been an ARC reader before, but obviously if they had, that made me as the author feel a little bit better because the assumption is that they know what they're doing, they know what's expected of them. So I had a look at some other authors' Google forms that they had people fill out in order to apply to be an ARC reader. I had links that linked directly to this form from my newsletter, from my posts. I just put it in my link tree and people could click that form and sign up, and when I made my Google form, I just looked at other authors and got ideas from them on how I wanted to phrase it, and basically they're pretty much all the same. In my form, I stated that these ARC copies are ebook copies. They will be receiving a free copy in exchange for a fair and honest review. I, as the author, prioritize reviews on Goodreads and Amazon, but they're free to leave the review wherever they like. I had a section where they could fill out where they'd be leaving their review, their first name, their last name or middle initial, the email where they would like their copy to be sent, whether or not they'd ever been an ARC reader before, how often they read my genre, because that was very important, and then of course there was an agreement at the end where they acknowledge the terms that they will be receiving a free ebook copy in exchange for a fair and honest review, and they agree not to share this copy with anybody. This is to be for their eyes only, and they're not to share any of the copy that they receive except for like quotes to be put in reviews and stuff like that. In my form for A Tale of Two Sisters, I also added the question, did you read The Phoenix and the Crown, and do you want to automatically be considered a permanent member of my ARC team so that you don't have to sign up every time? If you do want to sign up every time, you can do that as well, because I understand not every book is going to appeal to every reader. And I think that was really the only change that I made. I also made sure to include that even if they selected yes, they wanted to automatically be considered a member of my ARC team moving forward, that does not automatically guarantee them a spot. So I also did not count it against somebody for A Tale of Two Sisters if they hadn't already read The Phoenix and the Crown. I purposely tried to write A Tale of Two Sisters in a way that you didn't have to read the first book in order to understand it, and based on the reviews that I did get, I think I succeeded pretty well in that. The only thing that I wanted people to be aware of is that if you do read A Tale of Two Sisters before The Phoenix and the Crown, The Phoenix and the Crown's suspense or plot twists will more or less be spoiled for you because you'll already know what's going on. But that was basically the form. People signed up, I got all of their information, I sifted through them. For my first arc team, so to speak, with the Phoenix and the Crown, I didn't really want to place any restrictions on it because I had seen multiple posts online where authors said that if they could go back and redo something, they would give out as many arcs as possible. So my attitude going into this was everybody who signed up was going to get an arc, and that's basically what happened. One of the people who signed up I did not accept simply because they said they never read YA, and that doesn't mean that they won't like my book, because I do try to write it in a way that adults can enjoy it as well, because over half of the people who read YA are adults anyway. But if you never read a genre, chances are you will be less likely to enjoy it, and obviously the point of arcs is a fair and honest review. Honesty is important, but I do, as the author, think it would be foolish of me if I didn't give my book the best chance that I could. So if I know somebody is not likely to enjoy the book or the genre because they never read it, it's not necessarily the best decision on my part to go ahead and wade into that, if that makes sense. So other than that, everybody else got accepted. There were some duplicate entries. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but overall, for the Phoenix and the Crown, I had 26 people sign up and 22 arcs were sent out because, again, you had duplicate signups somehow, and that one person that never read the genre I did not include. I sent out my arcs using BookFunnel. I highly recommend it. It's so easy to use. I did send out 3 arcs for the Phoenix and the Crown on Story Origin, and all of the people on Story Origin downloaded and reviewed, for which I'm very grateful. But I personally am not going to use Story Origin anymore. I didn't use it for A Tale of Two Sisters. I think it's just more hassle than it's worth because you don't get as much interest from it, and their requirements for the format specifications of your ebook files are way more strict than I think it's worth putting up with, particularly if you have images in your ebooks like I do. I have chapter image headers and I have maps because these are fantasies. In the future, I think my ebooks will not have the chapter images just because it makes the file way too big, and you can get a fee on Amazon if it's too big. When people download it, they just take a cut because the file is too big and it might take a long time to download, and you can't even upload those files to Story Origin if the file size is too big. So you have to compress it using Calibra, and it's just a mess. So I'm not going to use Story Origin anymore, but for the Phoenix and the Crown, I did have 3 downloads from there, 3 reviews. So I sent out 22 arcs through BookFunnel with the Phoenix and the Crown and 3 from Story Origin. From BookFunnel, I had 17 downloads, and from those, I had 14 arc readers leave reviews, which I think is pretty good. When I saw initially that I had 26 people signed up, not including the duplicates, I didn't realize that initially that there were duplicates in there. I was so excited because I'd never done this before. I felt like 26 was a really nice number, and maybe it is. I don't know, but there's always people that don't download their copy. Like I said, I sent out 22 via BookFunnel, and only 17 people downloaded their copies. I don't know what the heck happens here. So when you send out arcs via BookFunnel, you set up a campaign, and when you do that, you get to decide how long you want the people to be able to download their copies. I gave people 2 weeks because I felt like that was a perfect amount of time. I understand things can go in the spam folder, people don't get to things initially right away. I wanted to make sure they had enough time. And the thing I love about BookFunnel the most is that once the ebook is downloaded, that's it. You can't download it again. If you lose it, you're out of luck. And if you share it with somebody who's not supposed to have it and they download it, you can't download your own copy. So it really helps crack down on pirating, which is a huge problem with arcs. There's a lot of drama that I've seen with arc readers and authors and just betrayed trust and all of that stuff, and BookFunnel definitely helps cut down on that. But yeah, every time I've done this, which granted is not a lot yet so far, there's always somebody who doesn't download their copy, and I don't know what happens. I don't know if they accidentally enter their email address wrong, or the wrong email address, or they just forget to look, or it goes in their promotions folder instead of their spam folder. I don't know. When I sent out A Tale of Two Sisters, I sent up follow-up emails, which I didn't do with the Phoenix and the Crown, to try to help with that, but oh well. But anyway, 14 reviews out of 17 download copies was an insanely high success rate, and I'm very happy with this result, and I think this result set the bar of my expectations a little higher than it should have for A Tale of Two Sisters. So, with A Tale of Two Sisters, I didn't use Story Origin. I just posted to my socials as usual, had the link to my Google form, and let people sign up. So for A Tale of Two Sisters, I had 10 people sign up as opposed to 26. Keep in mind, some of those were duplicates. 26 people signed up for the Phoenix and the Crown, only 10 signed up for Two Sisters. Of those 10, 9 people downloaded their ARC copy, and only 5 left reviews. Now, I think this is pretty normal. I think if you have 50% or slightly above people actually leave reviews that have downloaded, I think you're doing pretty good. And I know it's unrealistic to expect that every single person who signs up will do what they said that they would do, but I have to confess, as an author, it's a little disappointing. I'm somebody who takes my word very seriously, and if I say that I'm going to do something, if I'm unable to do it for whatever reason, I want to make sure that the person that I made the promise to understands exactly why that is. And I understand, life happens. I made sure to put that in my form for A Tale of Two Sisters. Life happens. Sometimes you can't get to the ARC copy in time. Sometimes something comes up. Maybe you overcommitted. Maybe in the time since you signed up and the time you got the ARC copy, something happened. I understand. I just want, if that's the case, the ARC reader to contact me and explain what happened so that I know, because here's my fear. There are people who sign up who get ebooks for free and then never leave the review that they said they would just because they never intended to. They just wanted a free ebook copy, and I as the author have to make sure that I'm not giving out free ebook copies for nothing. Somebody who doesn't leave a review might be doing so because something came up in their personal life, but if they never tell me, I don't know. I'm left to guess, and there are myriad reasons as to why this could happen, and guessing is not actually that useful. So to protect myself, I have to assume that I have to not accept them as an ARC reader from here on out, just because I can't take the risk of sending out free ebooks and getting nothing out of it. And here's another thing. ARC readers don't really owe authors anything. They owe us one thing only, and that is not to illegally distribute the copy that we give them. That is illegal, obviously, and immoral. You can't do that. Sometimes ARC readers have. So far, to my knowledge, I've not run into that, thank God. I think sometimes this is a problem more so with physical ARCs because they have the physical book. It usually says on there somewhere, not for resale, and I have heard horror stories of ARC readers trying to sell their physical ARCs even though it says not for resale. I don't give out physical ARCs, at least at this point, so I haven't run into that problem. But the one thing that ARC readers do owe their authors is they cannot sell or distribute the copies that they were given. That is illegal. Other than that, though, the agreement that they sign, so to speak, in the Google Forms is just a gentleman's agreement. It's a handshake. When they say they agree to receive a free copy in exchange for a fair and honest review, and they tell you that they're going to leave a review on Goodreads or Amazon, they don't actually have to do that. Again, if they don't leave reviews, I have to automatically assume the worst in order to protect myself and think, okay, I can't risk giving out free copies for nothing, and then I have to not accept people moving forward as ARC readers, and I do make sure that I say that in my forms, like, please be aware that failure to leave a review may result in you not being accepted for future ARCs. That's just the way that it is. Again, I understand life happens, but I need some communication here to understand why that is. And again, if life happens and an ARC reader leaves a review later, that's great. That's fine. They did what they said they would do. It's not the purpose of an ARC. The purpose of ARCs is to kind of drum up hype and make people aware of the book and start conversations around the book ahead of time before it's published. So if the ARC reviews are being left after the fact, it's not as useful. Personally, I'm just grateful that they went ahead and did what they said that they would do regardless. And again, I understand if life happens. I have had one of those incidents happen with The Phoenix and the Crown. It's interesting. It's a lot of trust. And this is something that I struggle with personally. I feel like people will let you down on the whole, and the only person that you can trust really and rely on is yourself. And when it comes to ARC reviews, I can't do it myself. I have to rely on other people, and that always makes me uncomfortable going out of my comfort zone, going out on a limb like that, giving someone else so much power over you, essentially. Like, you need these people, you're relying on these people, and if they don't do what they said they were going to do at the end of the day, it's really disappointing. And again, you don't know. Maybe they DNF'd it. I don't know. But I'm left to assume, and like I said, that's not that helpful because it could be any reason. And I am immensely grateful to everybody who was an ARC reader for me, who is an ARC reader for me, who will be an ARC reader for me. Like, thank you so much. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, if you did leave a review, that's all I asked for. And I'm so grateful for that. And if you are one of the people who happen to be watching this who said that you would leave a review and you didn't for whatever reason, please don't feel like I'm calling you out. I have no idea why reviews may or may not be left. I'm just trying to be completely transparent about this whole process to help out other authors who may not know what to expect. And I think the key takeaway with this, as in many things in life and publishing, is that things never go the way that you expect. I expected that I'd get more of reviews for A Tale of Two Sisters than I did. I'm grateful for every one that I got, but it was an interesting experience. So, all of that taken together, where do we go from here? I think for my next release, I will be hiring at least one, maybe multiple PR companies to handle all of this. That's not to say that I won't recruit my own ARC readers or give a copy to those who did want to be a permanent member of my ARC team, because I absolutely will. Especially if those people were faithful and have left reviews. Absolutely, I would love to still give them a copy if they're interested. However, I want to increase the amount of ARC reviews that I'm getting, and I feel like the PR companies, this is what they do. They're perfectly situated and knowledgeable to get this done. And another thing is, with a company doing it, you're going to get what you pay for. So if you recruit your own ARC readers, that is absolutely free, and I'm still going to do it. I don't love the idea of hiring PR companies necessarily, because that's more money and I'm not exactly making bank, as they say at this point, but you are basically guaranteed results. If a PR company organizes ARC teams, not only are they better placed to place a book with a reader that might enjoy it because they know their hosts, they know their readers, they're also going to do what they say they're going to do, or else nobody's going to work with them in the future. So if you hire them to do an ARC tour, you're going to get an ARC tour for your book, because otherwise nobody would work with this company if they don't deliver on what they promise. So from the standpoint of getting more of a guaranteed result and less uncertainty involved, which bothers me as somebody who's a bit of a control freak and an anxious one at that, I think that's definitely the way to go. I think doing both might be more successful than what I've done thus far, but I will still definitely recruit my own ARC readers, and if they have signed up and they want to be a member of the team and they're interested in this next book that I will have coming out, absolutely, I'd love to give people a copy. So that's what I think I will change and do differently moving forward. It's not a great deal, it's just kind of pivoting and adding another layer onto what I'm already doing. So overall though, I'm not disappointed with this experience. I think recruiting any ARC readers at all was definitely an improvement over what I had done in the past, which was do nothing, which was not a good idea. I do not recommend that. If you are preparing for your debut release, please, I encourage you, find some ARC readers and just do a little bit more research into it. I think delaying the release if you need to in order to get this done is something that will be worth it in the long run. And of course, the experience is always valuable. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be with it and the more experience you'll have moving forward. So I definitely enjoyed this experience. I'm overall happy with how it went, and it was a learning experience that I think was very valuable, and I look forward to seeing where we go from here and sharing more books with all of you guys. So there you have it. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. My name is Rachel Terry. I am the author of 4 young adult fantasy books, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!